I don't know what pissed me off even more, the fact that this wasn't recording, or the fact that I'm induced with anxiety right now in this car because I'm not a good enough driver to be driving on a busy road. I'll keep it a stack with you guys. I'll keep it 1000% mfethu. Like, I'm like, if there was an emergency right now and someone was dying in the passenger seat, knock on wood, I'm not sure if I'll be the person that is able to get us there yet. I could, but we'll get there eventually. And then I think about how there's so many things that we don't give ourselves enough grace about for not being good at, simply because it's on the other side of experience, and that's just what we don't have at the moment. Like, there's so many of us that beat on ourselves and each other for not being able to do X, Y, and Z, simply because we haven't started. And that then there's a timeline thing where we project other timelines on other people, that, oh, by this age you're supposed to be able to do this, by this age you're supposed to be able to do this. And it's like, yeah, well, say I don't, now what? You know what I mean? There's plenty of things that I've been able to do since the age of 11, and I guess driving was not one of them. Do you understand? Picking up an instrument wasn't one of them. You know what I mean? Like, being a mechanic was not one of them. I learned how to slaughter fairly late in my life, but like, hey, at least I know how to do it now. You know what I mean? Think about the amount of things that we beat ourselves up for not being good at, not because we don't have the knack for it, but simply because it's on the other side of experience and we just haven't started yet. Like, how is it that your excuse for not being able to do something is because you're not good at it? Yeah, of course you're not going to be good at it. It's your first time doing it. Or if it's not your first time doing it, you haven't been consistent enough. You haven't put in enough time for you to at least get comfortable with doing it. But not being good at something should not be an excuse to not do it. Because how are you going to get good if you haven't done it enough? I'm thinking about my friend right now who just got comfortable with driving on public roads and freeways and highways and stuff like that, and is now taking adult swimming classes, right? And I'm so proud of her. As someone that's been swimming since he was 10, I would never be like, oh, you don't know how to swim? How do you not know how to swim at your big age? Because here I am, induced with anxiety to a point where I can't start this car and just go home. Do you understand? How dick of a move would that be? And also, how hypocritical of me would that be if I decided to, like, not support her and judge her for not being able to swim? Do you understand? Like, we need to remember that 90%, if not 99% of this world moves off of projection. So a lot of the times when someone's projecting something onto you, good or bad, it's because that's how they feel about themselves internally, right? And that's also a gauge on their privilege or lack thereof. So if someone's gonna bash you for not being able to drive really well, if at all, it's because they probably know how to drive. And they were probably taught by, like, an elder or something. Like, I wish I had, those parents or those uncles that would take me under their wing and be like, let's get behind the wheel at age 14, right? And me being able to drive well before I even get my license. I wish I had that for me, because I don't. So many of us don't have that. Then you're going to start comparing yourself to people that are already at their stage 10, 11, 12, 13 of whatever it is that you want to do. But because Alicia Keys is one of the best piano players, you're like, yeah, I'll never get like her. Yeah, not with that attitude you won't. Like, start. This thing of us wanting to play catch up with people that have started things way earlier, right, needs to stop. And then also the thing of projecting timelines onto each other where, oh, by a particular age you should have been able to do this, needs to stop. And it's not going to stop unless we give ourselves more grace. Because if you figure out that 90% of the things that we experience in life is literally just projection of how we feel internally, you realize that you don't take as much personally anymore.